Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we took on the Arizona Coyotes in the conference finals for the second consecutive season. Unfortunately, this time around, we end up losing, and we did not get onto the Stanley Cup finals like we did last season, but I still think it was a successful season for this team just because I didn't expect us to get this far, especially considering last offseason we lost Coley Mine. But this team managed to get all the way back to a conference finals and almost a Stanley Cup finals, which is pretty awesome. So it's going to be a very tough offseason ahead of us. I don't know if this team is going to have another chance at a Stanley Cup, but if they do, that'd be really nice. But yeah, it really sucks because we're more than likely going to lose some good players this offseason, and the team is definitely going to take, I think, a little bit of a step back. Also, when guys like Jorgensen are kind of dropping off due to age, like we're kind of in that territory where we might actually have some retirements. Like Jorgensen's 32, like he could honestly retire at 35, so he might be retired in the next few years, which would be really bad for this team. But yeah, I think this team is going to definitely go through a little bit of a tough stretch this off season with some losses. But hopefully we can keep the team together as much as possible. Because if we can, then maybe this team actually have a chance still at winning a Stanley Cup. But if not, the window probably is closed, which would not be great. So anyways, let's get into the draft and re-sign stage and entire offseason. I don't actually remember what the draft class looks like because it's been probably about a week and a half, maybe longer than that, since I've recorded an episode of this series, because all those episodes you guys saw prior to this were all pre-recorded. So let's actually take a look at the draft class again just to kind of familiarize yourself with it, even though you guys probably would have seen it more recently than I have. So we're going to be drafting probably late here in this first round. Oh yeah, there was a low league guy pinned. I forgot about that. Oh yeah. But that guy might go a little bit before our pick. I really hope he doesn't, but it'd be really nice to get Pax Poo if we actually have the chance to. If not, then there's not going to be a really great rest of the draft. Like, look at this, medium top nines. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're not going to be able to get that low elite, so we might have to take somebody off the board, like maybe O'Reilly, because he could be a low elite, just a little bit of a lower overall. There's also a guaranteed top 6-4 there, so maybe I would take this guy since he's probably better than those top 9, so I'll pin him in case. And he's listed as a gem. There's also, oh yeah, low elite defenseman. Yeah, we might end up taking this guy, to be honest, a little bit early. Since we can't really get him in the second round, we could honestly take him first round since he's low elite. He's a DFD. It would help us out, especially with guys that we're going to be losing on this team potentially this offseason. So, yeah, let's just get into this draft, and hopefully we can find some good prospects that could eventually make it, because we don't have a whole lot of seasons left of this franchise mode. Like, I think we're into the final 7 seasons maybe, which is ridiculous. So the series will be coming to an end shortly in the next like month or so, depending on how far we get in the playoffs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then once this series ends, we're more likely going to be doing a throwback franchise mode with one of my roster builds. Probably I'd say 2003-04, but some of you might want to see 1979-80. So we'll see what we end up doing with that. But let's focus on this Ice Tigers mode, at least right now. Hopefully we get some channel legends in this series that end up making the Hall of Fame by the end of 2023. But let's take a look at this top 5 in the draft, see who Chicago takes at number 1. They're going to take Neil, who's an 83 overall medium elite sniper. Looks pretty good. Really good shooting categories. Might end up being like Asher Vance in our Chicago series that we have. He's good on breakaways, good pass reception, and good off-balance shots. Doesn't have anything really about his shooting, which is kind of surprising. Because look how good his shooting category is. Like, this guy's going to be a stud for sure. Should be interesting to see what he develops into. Philadelphia at number 2 is going to take a 77 medium elite, so that's a pretty big drop off from 1 to 2. So yeah, this draft class might not be the best draft class for us to get some good prospects in, but hopefully we could find some to help us out down the road, because if not, this team might be starting to look pretty barren once we start to lose guys to free agency and also retirement. So Shattenkirk goes 3 to Minnesota. Might not have even any X factors, but he probably does. He's medium elite potential. The LA Kings, who are trying to move their 4th overall pick, take a 78 as well. In Bo Djordjevic, that's an interesting name. I don't think I've seen the name Bo before used much in this game. So there is Bo. It's funny because I only knew one person in my life named Bo. Like, it's not really a common name. Because I remember back in kindergarten, actually, because that's the last time I remember this Bo guy. We used to sing something about a song that said Ife Bo when we were talking about the weather, I think. And I think he always used to laugh for some reason because his name was Bo. So I don't know why that randomly just came to my mind, but I remember that in kindergarten. Like, I literally, that would have been probably almost like, yeah, that would have been over 20 years ago at this point. But I remember that for some reason. That just came to my mind all of a sudden. That is weird. Yeah, I think that was in my kindergarten, I'm pretty sure, unless it was when I was doing reading buddies when I had to read the little kids, but let's see, our pick here. Yeah, we didn't get Paxboo. Damn, that really sucks. If we would have like been knocked out in the second round, we could have probably got Paxboo, and he looks like he's gonna be a stud. Oh my. You're lucky there, Nashville. You're lucky. I would have loved to have this guy. This guy doesn't have the greatest offensive awareness, but the shooting's pretty good. He's got low lead potential. He's a 73, and look at all these X factors. He would have been something we could have definitely used. And there was also another low lead right before him in Walters, who's also really good. Damn. Yeah, I wish we would have had an earlier pick in a sense. Like, it's nice to get to the conference finals, but not to get that Stanley Cup really hurts. So I would have rather had one of those low leads probably. I don't think I'm going to take one of these top 6 defenders because they don't look really that great. So we'll probably go with the low lead that's supposed to go in the second round. Because I don't think the top 6 is that good. Like, he's got good shooting and puck skills, but that's pretty much it. And he's guaranteed to be a top 6. I think I'm going to go with Grayson Smith-Pelly, since he's low lead. He has good shooting, good physical. Hopefully he develops into being something. He's 3 years out, so we will get a chance to potentially see him in our lineup as well. So, yeah, Grayson Smith-Pelly, welcome aboard. 64 overall, that's pretty solid. And he is AHL eligible. He does also have his zone ability, which is way better than I expected, to be honest. So he's got shutdown as his zone ability, back at you, and truculent. So this guy is a very good defenseman that also likes to throw hits. That's exciting. Hopefully he develops really well in the next year or so, and then we could probably play him. We could probably already play him in the AHL, but I don't really know if I should. I might end up doing that. We'll see where our contracts are at when we get to the re-sign stage. Now that's a pretty solid pick to start off with. We got 2 guys listed as gems. They're both looking like low top 4s, but this guy's 3 years out at 17. That's not bad for Spruev. Pasquale's 18, and he is also 3 years out. He has no weakness. To me, I'm leaning towards Spruev, though. They're both listed as gems. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Spruev here, the Belarusian, instead of the Hungarian. Yeah, let's go with Nikita Spruev. Welcome aboard. And he is a low top 4, 63 overall. Not bad. We'll see if he ends up developing in something, but if he does, then we got another solid defenseman prospect. Oh, man, we just missed out on a medium elite. Screw you, Islanders. I didn't realize that guy was a medium elite. 19 years old already, though. So he might not end up being that elite potential still, but that would have been a nice player to get, at least for some value. There's a fringe starter goalie. We might honestly just need to keep adding more goalies. This guy's pretty solid already, too. 4 years out. I think it's a no-brainer just to take more goalies because with the situation with Cox, he's likely leaving this offseason. So I think it makes more sense for us to just keep on piling up the goalie prospects, and hopefully one of them it could actually be a good goaltender in the postseason. Obviously, Coscaranta right now will be our starting goalie probably for next season. So let's take Vince Fontinos. And he is a 60 overall out of the gate, which is not bad for a fringe starter. And yeah, pretty balanced. More athletic than he is, better at everything else, but still really balanced, and hopefully he could be something decent for our team down the road. Maybe like a backup goalie even. That wouldn't be a bad idea. The rest is draft class, so it looks like we didn't do a great job scouting it. There's a guaranteed medium top 9. I might as well take this guy, but he's 19 already is the problem. There's another fringe starter. Do I want to go with another goaltender? This guy had incredible stats in Finland. And 923 save percentage. I know it's just generated, but still. 4 years out at 18, still not bad. But there is maybe a medium elite power forward. Doubt he is. 19, maybe actually pretty good. I don't really know. He's kind of intriguing. based on those things. Obviously, it's not really scouted that well, but I think I'm going to just take a chance with him. Let's take Terry Lynn. Might as well. And he is a medium top 9 grinder, so definitely not as good as we were hoping. I was hoping he'd be like a power forward and maybe like a low top 6 or something like that, but there is Lynn. Don't know if he becomes something for us at all, but still. At least we're finding some prospects in this draft, but it's still not the best draft. I would rather get some like low elites at this stage. Like a lot of these guys might not end up making a team before the end of this franchise mode if they end up even having a chance. Yeah, we're into like the bottom 6/7th D territories, so I think if there's no low elites, I'm going to auto-sim the rest. Yansevsky, 5 years out, might be low elite. You know, I'm going to take a chance with Yansevsky and then auto-sim the rest. Hey, look at that. Okay, low elite he was. I wasn't expecting that. 49 overall at 18 no is very bad. But if this guy randomly shoots up an overall, that might be a solid pick there. But let's auto-sim the rest of this draft because, yeah, it's not looking like a good draft. So the computer after we got Yansevsky got us Ledeker and Sabrin. Interesting. Okay, re-sign stage. This is where it's going to be really, really tough. Let's bring back our assistant coach, I think. Yeah, let's bring back him. He wants to be a head coach, though, so he might not accept. Let's try and get him back anyways, because we need to have a good coaching staff. Let's bring back our scouts as well. Most of them are still pretty good overall-wise, so might as well keep on bringing them back. And then, yeah, the re-sign stage is going to be very tough because I don't think we're going to have a lot of flexibility cap-wise, and I think there is some pretty big free agents pending, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember because it's been a while, like I said, since I recorded an episode of the series. More than likely, the season sim and stuff like that will be pre-recorded episodes, but yeah, just because that way I could have like weeks of episodes done if we get far in the playoffs. But if we miss the playoffs next year, obviously there won't be a lot of pre-recorded episodes, so... Okay, re-sign stage. What do we got? 41 million in cap space isn't bad. Do we already sign some of these guys to their ELCs? And this is the last year of Hartnell's UFA or RFA status. I think I honestly might lock him up. But Danner. Ooh, why is Danner want 7.9 already? He's a pending UFA at the end of this year. He's only played 2 seasons in the NHL. And he's only had a career high of 35 points. He's a great player, don't get me wrong. But I don't know about paying him 7.9 for 6 years. Bomeister, Homa. Yeah, I'm going to qualify both these guys because those asking prices are a bit astronomical. I'm going to qualify probably all the RFAs as I normally do, just because some of them ask for outrageous prices at their overalls. Like, that's the only problem with Drafted Glories. So we'll qualify all those guys. But I am thinking of locking up Hartnell because I know he's a pending UFA. He was our best player in the playoffs this last season, and he also scores a good amount of goals. And obviously, if we lose somebody important, he could be that guy. Yeah, he's been really good the last 2 playoffs. Who's pending UFA, though, at the end of this year? Oh, yeah, we have also Zikov and stuff. Oh, boy. That's a lot of cap space to give to Hartnell, but I might have to. Because we have, yeah, Zikov and Harakala are likely both gone this offseason. Because, oh yeah, there's no way I'm paying 17.8. I love Zikov, don't get me wrong. But 17.8 for a guy that had a career high of 69 points. He's pretty much like in the territory that Coley Minen was last year. I don't think there's any chance I bring him back. There is a chance I could bring back Harakala. Not at 15 million, though. Not at 15 million. I'm going to have to write down some of these names because this is definitely going to be our toughest offseason, I think, yet in terms of losses. Like, our defensive core is going to be pretty barren, so I might actually have to sign Danner to a multi-year deal because or else he's going to be a pending UFA next year, and then he might be gone as well, and our team might completely fall apart. I just need to find a pen, and then I'm going to write down who I need to bring back or who is going to be in free agency that we need to keep an eye out on. Let's see, is this marker going to work? Just because I want to make sure I know where these guys are going. So we have Zikov. Oh man, this marker is in terrible shape. So we have Zikov, who's going to free agency. Harakala definitely is as well because I can't justify paying $15 million Wong might end up as well. But those are like the big ones, the Zikov and Hirakawa. Let me see what Wong's asking price is. I wouldn't mind keeping Wong. 1 year at 4.375 is good. He definitely dipped down in performance this year, but then you go to 8 years and he wants like $12 million. So I guess we'll do the 1 year deal for Wong. Vandenbush. Oh man, I'm going to have to let go of these depth type of guys as well for now. But hopefully they're still free agents at the start of the season. So let me write down all these guys for now just because. Might as well. But yeah, our team is definitely going to take a little bit of a hit. Well, actually more of a huge hit, I should say, this offseason. So we'll write down Walzer as well because he will probably be a free agent again. Because I bet you he wants like $2 million. Yeah, that's too much for a 77. Svoboda wants a one-way deal. He wasn't even in the NHL last year, right? Wow, this guy is physical. Might be something we need, though. What does he want again? Let's just give him what he wants. He might honestly be a fourth liner for us next season. And then let's sign some of these guys maybe to their ELCs. Too bad he's not Mary Lemieux. Most of those guys don't look like they're going to make it, to be honest. But we could use guys in the AHL all the time. So let's sign a couple of these guys. Just to see if they make it. These two I'm going to let go of. And then goalie-wise, yeah, Cox is likely gone. What about Taze? It's not terrible. I might bring him back. Canone wants a one-way deal. And he has yet to play in the NHL. He's played 2 years only in the AHL. Huh. I don't really know. I will sign Bissick, the high fringe starter, because we could use more AHL goalies all the time. And yeah, Cox dropped down to an 81. He only wants 4.475. That's not bad, but you go for multiple years, then he starts wanting more money. I don't like Cox, but I might be able to bring him back. I don't know about the numbers, though, to be honest. Like, his playoff numbers have been terrible. A 905, a 904. Still listed as a starting goalie, so his morale might be down right now. I might honestly be able to afford him back for another year. I'm going to give Taze the $2 million for the 1 year. I think that's fine with me. Canone has no NHL experience so far, but I might let him walk. Because we got Koskinen also to qualify. 8 years, he wants 9.1. My God. Let's qualify him anyways. I'm trying to think of what we could do here. I'm going to let go of Canone, I think. Unless, is there any other AHL goalie still playing? Oh, yeah, we have Novikov. Yeah, I'm going to let go of Canone. It doesn't make sense to hold on to him for now. And, yeah, I'm going to let go of Walzer and Vandenbush for now. Like I said, I could definitely bring those guys back. But Hirakawa, Zikov, I am going to give Hartnell the money that he's asking for, I think, or try the 85% trick or whatever it is right now, because if I try this, I think I might be able to get him back on an okay deal. I might be an overpay right now, but I think Hartnell needs to be here in order for this team to still do good offensively. So let me open up my calculator here and see if we could try him for the 85% trick, because if we get him for the 85% trick, then we got to think about if we could actually afford to bring back somebody like Zikov. But I don't think I could bring back Zikov and Hirakawa at that price, because then it hurts us in terms of like cap space down the road, you know. But I think I might be able to be willing to give Danner a multiple-year deal, just because I know he's a pending UFA. And if we lose two guys already this offseason, our defensive core is going to start going down to tubes, you know. So $13.3 million, that's a lot of money that he wants right now. And if we times that by the 85% trick, actually I want to go 0.85, not by 85. Looks like we can get him down to 11.305. We'll see if he accepts that. If he accepts that, then definitely I am happy with that. If I need to go a little bit more, so be it. So we'll try the minimum. And it is a 6-year deal as well. So I think it's a good deal for him. He's still only 25 as well, so it's not like he's like 28 or something like that. So we'll see if he accepts, and if he accepts, then it might make our decisions harder with Zikov and Hirakawa, but I think both of them have to go, to be honest. Let's advance today and see if we get Hartnell back, because he's the main one right now that I want to get back for this team. Because if we lose him, that's going to be a hard one. But I obviously could qualify him for one more year, but then he's the UFA next season. And he did not accept that. Let me try going down to $12 million for 6 years. That's still less than Jorgensen's getting paid, so he doesn't actually want an extension, so it actually might be harder than I think. Come on, man. Please accept. And then, yeah, these two I'm going to leave for now. Tay's also rejected. A little bit more for Tays, because we need him as a backup. Because I don't know about bringing back Cox, to be honest. And Coscarena is one of the guys, too, so. Let's see what we got here. Come on, Hartnell. It's $12 million bucks. Rejected it. And I think Tays accepted. Yeah, Tays accepted. We have $34 million still. Okay, I'm going to give you exactly what you're asking for, Hartnell. Or else I might have to end up disqualifying you. But I really need to have him locked up. So I think I might be willing to... Oh, he accepted the 13.3. So we're down to $21 million, which means both these guys are definitely gone because we can't afford both of them. So bye-bye to... Actually, let's take a look at their stats, because I can't just say bye-bye to them. I have to actually give them their proper send-off, because they might never come back to this team. But Olli Hirakawa, former first overall pick, doesn't really have the numbers that I was hoping for. But solid player nonetheless. Definitely going to be a weak defensive core without him, but best of luck in free agency. We'll definitely take a look at where you sign in next episode. And then this one's probably the toughest one we've had for quite some time. Boris Zikov. He was a former third overall pick of us in 2026. This guy just had a career season, and now he's asking for everything pretty much. But he's been with us for quite some time, for the last 10 seasons. Almost 1,000 games with the club. But yeah, there's no way I could afford him. Yeah, he's a really good player. Sucks to let him walk as well, but you got to go as well there, Zikov. And then Cox, I guess I could maybe still afford him. I don't know if I want to bring him back. I should probably give Danner something like... Can I do the 85% trick on Danner? Because I know now that we lost both of those defenders, Danner's going to become the #1 guy almost on this team on the defensive core. Because now, yeah, he's literally the #1. I think. Yeah, we'd have Danner, we'd have Bomeister, we'd have Denny. Yeah, our defensive core is going to be really rough next season. But that's what happens when you spend money. So, yeah, we got to lock up Danner here. Try in the 85% trick on this price. And if we could get him for 85% of this, that would be great. But now that we lost all our good defenders, I don't want to lose Danner next offseason as well, because if we lose Danner, then our team is going to be even worse. But yeah, this team is not going to make the playoffs this year if this defensive core is like this, I don't think. So I think we could get them down to like 6.78, which is not terrible. So actually, 6.8. Yeah, we'll do 6.8 for 6 years. It's a bit expensive, but he's worth it for now. I think he's going to be on the uprise with more ice time and all that. And then the rest of these guys will be qualified for the other year. And yeah, I think I'm going to let go of Cox as well. Just because I'm not a fan of his numbers. He might end up going on to surprise me with another team, but yeah, his regular season numbers have dropped off considerably. He's usually an okay regular season goalie, but when it comes to the playoffs, like, yeah, I'm not really fond of the 303 goals against average, and also his last 4 years in the playoffs, he's been terrible, and it'll probably be even worse if we get to the playoffs this year with the defensive core in front of us. So, yeah, Sean Cox, best of luck in free agency. Thank you for your time here, but I really don't think you're worth $4 million right now. But, yeah, this team is definitely taking a hit. We're going to have a really good forward core still for the most part, like Keith Parrott, Hartnell, Farrell, Wong, Claxton. Actually, the bottom six might not be that good. Maybe it will be okay. Actually, yeah, our forward core actually should be fine. But defensively, it's going to be iffy. Because unless there's a former player in free agency, but Danner, Bomeister is our top two potentially. Denny, Eichel, Ackers might jump up. I should definitely sign some unsigned guys, like the guy we just drafted. Let's sign Glenn Cross to his ELC maybe. Yeah, let's sign him even though he can't play in the AHL yet, I don't think. Pow's not ready. We'll sign you, Lolit Smith-Pelly, since we just drafted you. Addison, he's a playmaker. Might as well sign you up as well since you're 19 already. I could probably also sign Spruev, to be honest, just to get ourselves more of our defensive prospects into the AHL. And Pusher, no, not ready yet. Yeah, the rest of it's fine. We did definitely need to start drafting more defenders, though, because this defense core is probably gonna not make us make the playoffs this year. I think this will be a year we miss the playoffs. Oh, Danner rejected. God damn it, Danner. Will you do 6x7? Because 6x7, I think, is still relatively good. It's almost $1 million less than you want, but let's see if he'll accept that. Of course, EA servers go down while I'm recording. And he rejected it. God damn it, Danner. 6x7.5. I need you locked up, buddy. I need you locked up. Let me go just make sure nobody else is getting left out. Okay, we're good. And he accepts. Okay, so 6x7.5, a bit expensive. But I think that was important. We also lost our coach. We'll probably have to hire some coaches. But yeah, $50 million in cap space. We might be able to bring back some former players if there is any. But I think our forward core, like if we go by forwards, still really good. But the defensive core, that's going to be the issue this season. Because likely we would be playing these top 6 defenders right here. Unless there's a former player in free agency. Wait, but I have 15 million I'd sit in cap space. I might be able to still bring back like Zikov or something like that on a 1-year deal if they drop their asking price. Which wouldn't be a bad idea. But yeah, let's see who is available in free agency if there's any former players of ours. Yeah, I can't afford Zikov at 18 million. Eric Howell at 15.15. I would just be able to afford him for 1 year. But there is 3 teams interested. I might honestly try and bring him back. Let me just take a look and see if there's any other former players, though. Probably is not. Oh, there is Valery Zikov, but we don't really need a forward. That's the only problem. I traded him to New York, and now he... Or no, I didn't trade him to New York. I let him walk, and he signed a 3-year deal. And now he's a pending free agent again, but I don't think he's worth $11 million. Would be nice to bring him back, but when we are looking for defenders... I don't know. Yeah, I might honestly just give Harikala a 1-year deal. See if he'll accept it. Since it would be right up against the cap. But it would improve our defensive core for 1 more year. This guy's name sounds familiar. Oh, that's why. Okay, it's not the Penninger we used to have. I think we used to have a Penninger. And look, there's our former player, Mikhail Kalinin. But he wants 7.1. That's actually not bad. I could afford it. He's not really worth that type of money, but I could do a 1-year deal. And that way our defensive core at least improves a bit. Does fit our top 4 and stuff like that. I honestly think I might bring him back because he's a cheaper option. There's also Trey Farrell who wants 7 million. So I could bring back both of these guys for 1-year deals potentially. They might drop their asking price as well. But I also do have the R phase to worry about. Like Bouwmeester's trying to ask for a lot of money. So I could probably only bring back one of them. Question is which one is probably more worth it. Maybe Kalinin since he's defensively minded. We did have Farrell just last season, right? Or 2 seasons ago. What do I do here? What do I do here? I think I should only bring back one of them. Oh, there's also Strachan, 675. That's not bad. I bought this guy out years ago. And, not been great. He's actually career minus 203. Yeah, he's not great defensively. I think I'll bring back one of those defenders, though. Because I'm not looking to bring back a forward like Zikov right now. Just because it doesn't make sense. Let's just sort this by overall so it's easier to read. But yeah, I don't know if Harikala would be worth it for 1 year at that 15.1. Because then he'd be gone for sure. I think bringing in one of the lower overall guys for 1 year might make more sense. I'm leaning towards Kalinin just because he's a DFD. And yeah, he was good defensively last year in Toronto. He's usually pretty solid defensively. So yeah, I think I'm going to bring in Kalinin on a 1 year deal. And he doesn't really want too much money either for 1 year. So let's go 1 year. Give him $6 million for 1 year. Just because we have RFAs to worry about. And that is going to be probably our only signing. Just to help us out, like, in terms of playing defense. Harry Neal wants 10.55. That's funny. That is funny. I know he just had an incredible season, but damn. Okay, so there you go. That should be our only signing. Kalinin should accept, hypothetically. Okay, guys, so at this point in the video, for some reason, my Elgato froze again at this point. It's really friggin' frustrating me. I don't know why the reason is, but hopefully I could fix it once it comes to recording again. But I will show you guys what ended up happening after this point. So we did get Kalinin in, and this is what our roster is going to be looking like for this upcoming season. As you can see, it looks pretty solid. Our defensive core definitely not that great, but the forward core still looks really solid, even with like the losses we've had over the last few years. So it should be good enough to get us into the playoffs, the forward core. Going to be interesting to see what youngsters like Bobkov could do this year, considering he is developing quite well. He's actually listed as a second liner, but we can't really play him on that second line because the fact we have Jorgensen up there. So if Jorgensen starts to drop off, obviously we can move him down. But for now, forward core looks good. Defensive core, like I said, we brought back Mikhail Kalinin. And the top four, a little bit weak, but these guys are all listed as top four, so it's not that bad. And then our top six is definitely not that great, but hopefully it's okay since it's got chemistry. And the goaltending's not that bad either. So our team looks pretty good. I'm going to leave these guys as depth options for now. I'd like to use maybe Hagos at some point since he's actually listed as a depth forward. So we'll see if I will slot him into the lineup at some point. Probably will do that if Saburn's taking too much penalty minutes, that type of thing. So that is our roster going into the season. Final thing as well before we end this episode. Let's maybe give Claxton a contract extension since his contract ends this year. He wants $1.5 million, which he had his... Okay, so also before we end this episode, let's give contract extension to Miles Claxton. He was making 1.5 for the last 8 years. What does he want for the next while? He wants 6.7 for 6 years, which is a bit expensive. But we're going to be using him as like a third/second liner. So we will try and keep on to him because he's an important piece to this team, I think. So let's see what the 85% trick does on this guy. But oh man, it's so annoying that this Elgato does not record sometimes. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it all of a sudden pauses in the middle of important things in these episodes. But luckily I caught it this time around so I could show you guys some other stuff meanwhile. But we'll do 6.7 and we'll times it by 0.85. We'll see if we get him for the 85% trick at 5.695. That's a little bit expensive, but I think he's worth it. I feel like he's going to have a breakout year if I don't sign him. So, yeah, let's do a 5.7 by 6. It's an expensive deal. I just need him to stay with his team until he retires. I think he's one of the more underrated players on his team. So, we'll see if he accepts that. But, yeah, at least this upcoming offseason is not as tough as the other ones because we have let go of such a lot of our big players. But like we might end up losing Farrell, Wong this upcoming offseason, which is not great. So, but anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will simulate the rest of the season. Likely it will be a pre-recorded episode, and hopefully our team can maybe make a playoff push again. If we miss the playoffs, hopefully it's not like one of those cases where we're a tweener team and just barely miss, because I don't want to have a mid-round pick. I'd rather have like a high up top 5 pick if we're going to be a bad team. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.